Hello, my name is Sky Bradley and this is my video project for HDFS 438. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Originally, I intended to discuss black and white spaces within the color line. I wanted to address self-segregation and the many ways it presents itself in our society. But then I had a change of heart. One night I was looking at the photos on my memory wall and kind of just revisiting every single photo, and the majority of them show my mom and my dad creating their forever memories. Sometimes when I look at the photos, I am taken back to the exact moment the picture was snapped. 13 years ago, I lost my dad less than a week after my 7th birthday. My last moments with him included an exchange of goodbyes before he dashed out the door to go to work. So, ultimately, I made the decision to switch my topic in efforts to recognize students living in single-parent households, but more specifically, minority students. So, although we scratched the surface level from our textbooks and in-class discussions, I thought it would be significant to reiterate the many struggles that minority students in single-parent households face on a day-to-day basis. Most of the articles I found left me with a bittersweet feeling. The phrase single-parent household typically carries a stigma and is often stereotyped on social media. But contrary to what these platforms may believe, the problem is not the number of parents or lack thereof in the household at all. Countless studies have confirmed that living with a single parent, which is predominantly mothers according to my findings, has the same positive impact as children in dual-parent households. Emotional support, guidance, and strong encouragement are only a few of the many qualities that single parents provide for their children. This is the sweet feeling that I mentioned before, but unfortunately we take a turn for the worse when evaluating socioeconomic class. Most single-parent families remain below the poverty line, which therefore hinders the academic achievement for their children. Without access to proper resources, students typically fall victim to delinquency, violence, teenage pregnancies, and continue the cycle of living in poverty. And I don't mean to stray too far from my topic or take away from the students I'm talking about, but as someone who grew up in a single-parent household, I definitely went through some trying times. Because I didn't have both parents providing an income, my mom was kind of forced to work more to make up for that, and as a result, it definitely did hinder my grades in school. I didn't have someone to help me with my homework or tutor me in a subject that I was struggling with, and I ended up finishing my high school career as a C average student. So moving forward, the reason why this topic is so important is because not enough people are talking about it. Of course, programs and organizations have been designed to ensure educational achievement, and in addition to that, family support is also provided. But in regards to financial support from the community, single-parent minority families remain in the dark. Another factor that is worth mentioning pertains to intersectionality. As formally defined by Kimberly Crenshaw, who also coined the term, intersectionality is the study of how different power structures interact in the lives of minorities, and more specifically, Black women. So the reason I mention this is because one of the articles I found titled "Factors Contributing to the Success of African American Women in Higher Education" discusses the barriers women of color face, including bias or judgment from professors, little recognition in the classroom, and poverty. So as you can see, poverty is a recurring issue for minority students, which is why it is important to reiterate the urge for change. So in conclusion, we should inspire more change. Aside from poverty and the hardships of living in a single-parent household being an issue, high-quality education and resources are still prioritized in predominantly white institutions over anything. To ensure academic success, we need to do more than promote diversity. We need to continue to instill clubs, organizations, and centers for minority students. I know a couple of the articles that we read in class were successful in creating programs for their students to succeed academically, but unfortunately, not every school or university provides that access for their students. In 2017, the education gap between Black and white students stood between 20 to 30%, regardless of whether or not minority students came from financially stable backgrounds or dual-parent families. So clearly, there is a lot of work to be done, and spreading the news about each of these concerns is where we should start. And that concludes my video. I hope some of the topics that I touched on you take with a grain of salt and reach out or inspire change in your own way to give back to the community. Thank you.